What's up everyone, your friendly neighborhood onesie guy here, and today I'm finally making that video I promised I'd make over a month ago. So knowing me, procrastination is my second name. So I promised I'd make a video explaining why I took such a large break, so why I didn't stream or create any content for almost 2 months. And obviously, ironically, it took me an entire whole other month to create a video about not creating content for 2 months. So yeah, let's just start at the beginning, I suppose, or start at the simplest point where everything was going okay. This was about during end of January, middle of February last year. Everything was going fine. I'd gotten myself back on track with streaming, and I'd gotten a lot of new ideas about what I wanted to do with the stream, with my YouTube channel, and with a number of other projects I was looking to invest my time in. So I, just kept pushing at it, streaming every day, trying to come up with as many ideas to create content as I could, and it became that whole old thing of, trying to wear too many hats or trying to have too many plates spinning at one time. And I started to feel like I was becoming overwhelmed. And that is unfortunately a problem that I have, that when I want to do something, if I have an idea, I want to do it now. And because I had a few ideas of how I wanted to change my stream, on, how I wanted to create new different content for YouTube, I kind of let that snowball into me feeling like I couldn't handle it and like I needed a break. And even though I'd only been doing it consistently again for about a month and a half, I thought, I'd take a day or two break from everything and that'll be okay. So I took a day or two, came back to streaming. Didn't kind of feel right, started dropping off on the streaming 3 times a week down to twice a week, and then once a week, and then I just stopped. And I just kind of let everything build up on me. In addition to the stuff I was doing on stream and for content creating, I had another, I wouldn't say project on the side, but another very important thing I was doing. So I have applied for an internship to a film academy. I'm still waiting on the final word on that. They said that because of the amount of applications, plus obviously the global situation of COVID at the moment, it could take anywhere from 3 months or more for them to actually get back to me and respond. So now at this point, it's been just over 2 months. So I'm kind of getting a bit anxious now, expecting a reply within the next month or so. However, when I was in the process of applying for that, I had to go through a number of applications, a number of forms I had to fill in, questionnaires, and a assignment that I had to do. I had to do like 2 assignments as well. I knew about this about almost 3 months before I had to submit it. However, every time I sat down to do the actual assignment, my anxiety got the best of me, and I couldn't progress more than doing 1 or 2 questions before I started getting all worked up and I had to step away from it. So it came down to me having 3 days left to finish 90% of what I needed to do. And that applied even more stress to me. Again, self-created stress, but stress nonetheless. And then I put all my effort into doing that for basically 2 days. And it was really down to the wire for me to send this application in. The part that I find really stupid is I couldn't fill out the application online. I literally had to print everything out, physically write everything down, scan it, and re-upload it. So that part, it was a bit difficult to get around when I finally got around to it, because it ended up being the weekend. So things were just a little bit iffy on there. However, eventually I did make the application, and after all of that, I was like, okay, I feel very drained now, so I'm definitely going to step back from this and take a small little break. At that time as well, my mom had suggested that I come and visit my family for a bit. For those of you who don't know, I live in one city, my family lives in another city in South Africa, and that's all of my family. So, you know, my mom, my brother, my sister, everyone lives there, my nieces, nephews. So I decided that, cool, I'm going to go away for a week, go spend some time with them. I ended up staying there for a week, spending the time with them, and on the day that I was meant to fly back out, literally 2 hours before the flight, I had a full breakdown and a full panic attack of just the thought of coming back here and the responsibilities and expectations I'd put on myself of what I need to do when I got back was just far too much, and I ended up rescheduling my trip or canceling my return and staying for another week. And after that, once I'd gotten back here, so then again, that was at the end of February, beginning of March, so about 2 weeks. So I got back around mid-March. I got back on a Tuesday, I think. And, you know, I decided, okay, I'm going to take this week off, and then the following Monday, I'll get back to streaming. Following Monday came along, and I was still nowhere near ready to stream, because I still had all those different ideas that I wanted to do, and I was still putting such pressure on myself to do everything that I'd promised myself I would do. So to put it this way, besides the streaming revamp that I was doing, which was, you know, playing different games, trying to grow my audience, I'd also had about 3 or 4 different YouTube content ideas, so different categories, you could say, of content that I wanted to create, and I wanted to start them all up at the same time. And again, all of that was just way too much, and I basically couldn't do any of it, and I got back to the point where I couldn't even function properly. So by couldn't function properly is I spent 90% of my time in bed. The depression took over 100%. I had no drive to do anything whatsoever. I had no drive to create anything, to be in front of the camera. I didn't even have drive to play games casually. And that was the part that scared me the most, because the thing that I'd used to relax myself and to escape from everything, that very thing I wasn't even feeling up to doing. So I made the decision that I was just going to focus on one thing at a time. Get back into being comfortable with one thing before starting up something else. Now at this point, I still have, or had and still have, the pressure or the anxiety looming over me of this Film Academy thing. Even though they said it can take 3 months or more, I pretty much woke up every day anxious and spent the entire day anxious, waiting for an email to come that never came. And at the end of the day, I was partly relieved that I didn't get an email, because it could have said, no, you didn't make it into the program. But then I was also still continuously anxious because I didn't receive any kind of communication, which to this day, every single day, still to some degree gets to me. Again, with that as well, I have also been recently trying to get into a proper psychiatric program to try and actually see a therapist on a regular basis. However, because, you know, content creation is currently technically what I do for a living, and so far it has not brought in any sort of cash flow. It's very difficult to find a therapist to go and see when you can't actually afford to see someone. So I've been going through an entire process of a non-profit organization that kind of gets you the therapy that you need, at a very reduced price, just obviously based on your financial state. A lot of people also ask me then, why do I carry on focusing on the content creation? Why don't I just go out and try and get a regular job? And actually, I have tried doing that multiple times. The problem being is that anywhere I've applied for a job, whether it's been a fast food restaurant, whether it's been in retail, whether it's been another call center job, for some reason I have just not gotten anywhere. So possibly a reference on my CV, or something is blocking me from getting any kind of feedback. The feedback that I have gotten from the few places that did give me any feedback were all call centers, and I have almost 8 years experience of customer service in the call center, plus additional experience in various other customer service areas. So let's say I about have a total of 12 to 13 years of customer service experience. And for me to not even pass through to get an interview or a test at a entry-level customer service position just seemed very strange to me. Now, a lot of people have told me that the main reason it might be is because of my previous job that I left. Because I resigned from that previous job, and if you resign, there's supposed to be nothing stopping you from getting another job. However, a lot of people have been telling me that it could possibly be that someone in my management team that when I left put me down for not eligible for rehire. So I couldn't, even though I was applying to the same place that I used to work at, which was Amazon, I couldn't even get into an entry-level position there. The one time I did get as far as doing an exam, passing exam perfectly, everything, to the point where they actually sent me an email to say that you made it through, here's your starting date. Literally 2 hours later, followed by an email to say that I didn't get the position, which I inquired about, and they said, oh no, sorry, the previous email was a mistake. So I was very confused about that. And again, there's no way, unless I go down a legal route, that I can prove that someone has put something on my permanent record that should not be there. The only two things I can think of would be, like I said, one, someone has put me down for not eligible for rehire, which in the case of me resigning should not be there. If I had been fired or retrenched or anything like that, and I had left under bad circumstances, that would have been perfectly fine, but that was not the case. Secondly, my history of mental illness. I say mental illness, obviously not in the state of like violent or aggressive, but my depression was documented because during my time there, I did end up spending a month in a mental wellness facility working on my issues, and that was about 2 months before I resigned from my job. So again, if that is also the reason on my permanent record why I'm not getting rehired, that is actually illegal, because basically they're not rehiring me or giving a false impression to other people, because that is classified, I'm not sure if it's everywhere, but in South Africa that is classified as a disability. So if you're not hiring someone because of a disability, that is actually illegal. So, and again, I can't prove any of this unless I go down a legal path and get an investigation to look into my permanent record, which again costs money, which I do not have. So yeah, all of this has been going on for a while and compounded. And so when I finally got back to streaming and starting to create content, I mean, the YouTube stuff has been very, very slow, obviously. My streaming has been definitely more consistent. And I'm also starting to, or I'm enjoying streaming again, which is the main thing. I still do have a lot of ideas about what I want to do with my YouTube channel, what direction I want to take it in. And I understand a lot of people do the same, where they are the only person creating content, managing, controlling their YouTube channels. and controlling all of their social media and their content, then they don't have any help, and they're pretty good at doing it. Unfortunately, I'm not everyone, and I do struggle to do that, specifically because I put a lot of pressure on myself to get things done in a certain time frame. I'm very, very bad at managing my time to what is important, because I consider all projects I work on important, so I can't really rate them in terms of what should have the most emphasis first and then not, so I kind of spread myself too thin on those things. So what I'm basically trying to look for now is firstly just focusing on one project at a time, and also trying to find someone or people to help me manage what I'm doing and also help me in the creation of the content. Unfortunately, it also comes down to money. I can't pay anyone to help me create content. I can't pay anyone to do any editing for me. I can't pay anyone to do any filming for me. So all of that I have to do on my own. And I don't mind doing it on my own. I always feel good about creating content by myself, because in the end of the day, I feel proud of the stuff I've created. However, again, I don't know how to balance those projects out. So I will put my everything into every single one of the things I focus on, and then I end up burning myself out, and where I had a goal or plan to continually do something for 6 months, a month and a half into everything, I'm burnt out and exhausted, and I don't enjoy what I'm doing anymore, and I'm just worried I'm going to be falling down that path again. So for now, I'm going to be trying to focus on one thing at a time. So for now, my streaming is going to take precedence over everything else. I'm going to try and keep to my schedule and be rigorous with that. The second thing is I do have 2 projects that I do want to work on the YouTube side. One was a bet that I took while streaming. So if you've seen my last video, you know that I play Hearthstone, and for the first time playing Hearthstone, I hit legend rank, which is the highest physical rank you can hit, and then within legend you can move either up or down the ladder. So I finally hit legend rank after trying to seriously play this game for roughly a year and a half. I finally hit legend rank, which was very important to me. And the bet I made with one of the people in my chat streams was that if I do make legend this month, which was now last month in April, I would cosplay a character from Hearthstone, which is also Warcraft, obviously. And they suggested a female character, so Jaina, and jokingly I accepted, because I was like, it's I really do want to hit legend, but it's not guaranteed. And now I did. So yeah, I have to cosplay as Jaina Proudmoore. And for those of you wondering what that looks like, I will put an image on the screen here. Yeah, so that is quite a challenging one to do, and I will be focusing on that. That is something I really want to do. And I'll be documenting as I go along with that. So as I start planning the outfit to creating it, and I don't just want to go very, how can I say, amateur cosplay with this. I want to try and be as professional as possible. So when I do the actual final cosplay, I want the hair to look good. I want, if I have to wear makeup to match the character, pretty much as I can do to be as authentically that character as possible, without it looking like some cheap budget thrown together in a week kind of cosplay. So throughout the month of May, I'll be working on that, and possibly the month of June. I'm not setting a 1-month time limit on it, just because I know how I am, and I'm not sure if I will be able to get it all done in 1 month. Specifically because some of the items will obviously have to be handmade and sewn together, and my sewing skills are non-existent. So that's also a skill I will need to learn first before going into that stage. But we'll definitely be documenting the planning part of it already, and I will hopefully start putting that up from later this week. The other project that I do want to work on as well, aside from that, is doing my movie reviews, which I said I was going to do again at the beginning of this year, reviewing foreign fantasy and TV series that are either little known or totally unknown, and that I think are worth watching. So again, I do have a few in the bag, so to speak, a few that I've watched that I want to review. It's just going about actually creating and recording that. Now for me, I record something and then I want to put it up straight away, and that shouldn't be the case. So with those two things, don't expect anything until I'd say the beginning of June. Don't expect any new YouTube content till June, as in new categories. Other stuff like, trailer reactions that I usually do, or just chatting and talking videos like this, giving my opinion on things, those you can definitely expect until the end of the month. But don't expect anything from the cosplay or from the movie review side until June, or at least towards the end of May. Most likely the cosplay ones will start before the movie review ones, just based on time. So just have a look out for those as well. So yeah, now you kind of know what my reasoning was for staying away for so long. Nothing particularly, not one particular thing caused it to be the way it was. It just happened to all fall together or fall apart at the same time. And I'm definitely trying to do better to not have that happen again. So every time I feel like I am getting overwhelmed or I'm putting too much pressure on myself to do too much, I am trying to step back from that, and also not making massive promises or saying that I will be creating this, that, and the other until I've actually done it. So for now, just expect the normal streams and the usual uploads. What I can ask for you is, if you are watching this video and you're not subscribed, please do so. It does help a lot. Also, I do have a Twitch channel which I stream on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, so I'd love it if you stop by there. All the details for everything will be on this side of the screen here, as you'll see. I do regularly upload on Instagram and Facebook as well. The Facebook group is slowly growing, which I'm super proud of. Yeah, so that is the story as of now. I'll update you as soon as there is anything to update on. And one last thing is that I am really blessed with the people I have in my life that continue to support me and continue to allow me to do this while I'm still able to, have a hot meal every night, have a roof over my head, and the safety and security of knowing that I'm not going to be homeless or I'm not going to have my medication. So I'm grateful for all the people in my life that enable me to do this kind of thing. And to those people watching especially, I do want to say that from here on out, I'm definitely going to be working harder, working smarter, and I hope that I make all of you proud. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that it provided some insight. I won't say it was enjoyable. So yeah, I will speak to you guys again soon. Enjoy your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching this from. And yeah, bye for now.